surface for the third meeting of the season between the Alouettes and the Argonauts. Each has won in the other's building, Dwayne, and yet for Montreal, their last road loss a long time ago was here over a year ago. A couple of days after that loss, they went out and they signed Darnell Sankey. He continues to be a big difference maker for the Owls.
Yeah, maybe proven to be especially a good luck charm on the road where they haven't lost since his acquisition. Sankey, obviously an impact player, part of arguably the best linebacking core in the Canadian Football League. He's the man in the middle. And then his counterpart for the Toronto Argonauts as well, one of the best in the business. The guy who brings the energy, brings the enthusiasm to that Toronto Argonauts defense. Wynton McManus, back and healthy for the stretch run for the Argos.
Ryan Dinwiddie, 3 straight years as a head coach in Toronto, all 3 finishing in first place, but not this year. That has been confirmed. In fact, they're still trying to get a playoff spot. Hamilton winning last night to close to within 2 points of that last playoff spot in the East. And Jason Moss leading the Alouettes, confirmed with the Ottawa loss earlier today to first place in the East. That's the first time for Montreal since 2012. So they know they will be hosting the Eastern Final. They have 4 games to go. There's Cody Fajardo warming up now. And we saw last week, Wayne, in that Argos-Ticats game, the slick field conditions on the natural grass at BMO Field. You wonder about the same with the rain pouring down.
Yeah, especially with it coming down so early. It's all about preparation. You know, guys were out early, checking out the conditions and so on. Hopefully making sure they've got the proper footwork. We saw last week in the Hamilton-Toronto game a number of players having to, whether it was adjusting their footwear, changing their tape jobs, their spat jobs on their shoes as the game went on. Hopefully everyone's prepared for the get-go from this one and they can just focus on playing football on both sides.
Montreal won the toss and they have deferred, so the Argos with Janarian Grant back will get the ball first. The previous 2 meetings, first it was here in week 4, the Alouettes won 30-20, and then 2 weeks later in Montreal, the Argos handed the Owls their first loss of the season, 38-17. We're underway at BMO Field off the foot of Jose Maltos. And it is Deontay McMahon with the ball across the 30, across the 40, and he is tackled there. Tyrell Richards, and Chad Kelly comes on. The Argos coming off a narrow loss in a walk-off to the Hamilton Tiger Cats last week. Kelly 17 for 26 for 255, a touchdown and a pick.
Yeah, obviously looking to overcome that loss, and whether it's in Chad Kelly's mind or not, certainly in the minds of many other people around the CFL, how he's going to respond facing the Montreal Alouettes on this field, where he struggled mightily in the Eastern Final a year ago.
They were 16-2 going into that East Final. Handing off here, right side, and a good gain on first down. Kadeem Carey, 3rd leading rusher in the CFL. He has that close to midfield.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to watch what Kadeem Carey does here today on the ground against these Alouettes. We'll talk more about that as we go. Adjustments on the offensive line for Toronto. With Isaiah Cage out of the lineup, Ryan Hunter bumps out from left guard to left tackle, his first career start at tackle. In the receiving court, Dejon Brissett back in the lineup. He's been on the 6th game.
Handing off again. Kadeem Carey again. Once again, he just keeps pushing the pile down inside the 45, back-to-back. Solid runs by Kadeem Carey for another Argo first down.
Yeah, Argo's doing a terrific job moving the line of scrimmage here, and the feeling with Montreal is that they're a team that doesn't want to give up the big play. They may give you something on the ground. Well, the Argos are very much a run-first team. They've been among the top 3 rushing teams in the Canadian Football League all season. Relying on Kadeem Carey, they're looking to set the tone early with him, take advantage of maybe what Montreal is giving them.
They also have Deontay McMahon, who is the ball carrier here, and we did see this last week as they established the run against the Hamilton defense using all 3 of their running backs.
Yeah, we'll see Daniel Adeboboye as well. Take a look at the Montreal front. Antonio Moultrie gives them a little bit more size in that front 7, a bigger guy at about 280, playing that defensive end spot. Tyrese Beverette, arguably the most impactful player in the Canadian Football League this season. This guy makes a difference all over the field every time out. Marc-Antoine Dubois, huge interception, set the tone in the East Final round.
Running again, 4 straight running plays, 2 by Carey and now 2 by McMahon, and another rushing first down. And that's inside the 30 as they just keep grinding it out here at BMO.
Yeah. Little question as to what the Argos game plan is coming into this one. Absolutely pound the rock, set the tone physically.
Kelly yet to throw a pass, keeping it on the ground. Another running play for the Argos. And that is Dan Adeboboye. So yeah, just like a week ago when we thought they'd run a lot. Ultimately they bailed in the running game later in the game, but we've seen all three of the running backs get some business.
Yeah, they absolutely started in similar fashion last week, but right here, first series of the ball game, three different running backs carrying the ball already. No pass attempts for Kelly.
Dan Adeboboye, third year out of Bryant, stays in the backfield. Finally a throw. That's complete. No, it isn't. David Unger had it in his hands, tried to turn around and dropped the football in that first passing attempt by Chad Kelly. And now, after that impressive drive, they're faced with a third down and a field goal situation.
Yeah, newcomer Lorenzo Burns in the secondary arrives to separate Dave Unger from the football.
Lirim Hajrullahu, 41 of 45 in the season. This one, a 32-yard try, a little closer to the right hash. For the opening points of the game, Hajrullahu sends it through. Argos started the game with the ball and marched it down, scored 3. So over to Cody Fajardo now. See what the Alouettes can do. Keep the road unbeaten streak on the road this year. Far and away. Look at the dominance, Dwayne. 6-0-1. The one little blemish, a tie in Calgary a couple of weeks ago, but no other team in the league has a winning record on the road.
Yeah, remarkable. Nobody with more than 3 wins on the road. The Alouettes with twice that in that undefeated record. Just another impressive stat for the Montreal Alouettes since September of last year.
September 9th, to be exact, right here at BMO Field. Last time they lost on the road. Cody Fajardo. First play from scrimmage for Montreal. It's caught to by Keon Julian Grant coming back to the ball. And that pickup, spot the ball, leaving them with a second and short coming up here for Fajardo.
Well, Cody Fajardo, for whom it all started here in the Canadian Football League as a Toronto Argonaut. Stops along the way in BC and Saskatchewan before making his way to Montreal, where he last year became a Grey Cup champion.
That's the one they could never take away in Hamilton, but he's had some great moments here in Toronto too, with the Argos and against them. Dominic Davis in short yardage. Loses the ball, but the whistle blows with the snap of the football, and that just squirted loose. We do wonder about ball control on a day like today. Slick conditions, but fortunately for the Alouettes.
Montreal number 48. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
There's a penalty the Alouettes may not mind taking given the circumstances at the start of that play.
Yeah, saved them.
So no longer short yardage for Dominic Davis. It's a second down and a little over 5 yards coming up. Here's what happened on that play. Second and 6 now. Fajardo back in. Low snap, tossed inside. That play's going nowhere. Went to Charleston Rambo. A little toss and lots of double blue in there to stall Rambo for a loss and a punting situation coming up for the Owls.
Yeah, watch for Rambo coming across the formation. It's late. Serezna gets some penetration. Able to break that one up as the timing of the play was just completely thrown by the issues handling the football for Montreal.
The last time these teams met in Montreal in Week 6, Janarian Grant had a 103-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. It started quite a run for him as an Argo. He has 4 return TDs in all. And this punt by Joseph Zima is taken off the hop inside the 25 for Grant. Trying to get outside and cut back, and Gagne has him. Avery Ellis too, as he's going nowhere, taken down back at the 15. Wet soggy on the natural grass at BMO. Matthew Shinetti is going to have more on the BMO field. Let's get an update on the field conditions from Matthew Shinetti.
Well, we've got weather, Rod, and well, we've got a field that in a week the grass isn't going to grow in those divots, and you're going to see on the field tonight a lot of pierced turf here, and it's going to be the battle of the 7 studs. Both teams are wearing 7 studs on their cleats, but is it a short stud or a long stud? You want to make sure that you're not getting stuck in the turf, which you might with a longer stud. So we're looking at both teams pregame. They were putting their shorter studs in, but you saw Deontay McMahon in that opening kickoff take that slip. We might be counting them tonight, Rod.
And Matthew, we remember last week against the Ticats without the rain, how slick that field got. Pretty chewed up by the end. So Argo ball from their 18 back to the ground. They ran a lot in their opening possession. That's Kadeem Carey with the football and picks up about 4 or 5 more yards for the Argos.
The varieties of different footwear is the league has evolved and fields have evolved to basically everywhere except Toronto having field turf. A lot of times guys have less of a selection of shoes in their lockers. In the old days where you practiced on grass, played on AstroTurf, artificial turf, had grass in Edmonton, you typically had a lot more selection in terms of what footwear you might go with.
2nd and 6, intercepted, thrown right to Deontay Ruffin, the interceptions leader of the Alouettes, and he's still going down to the 15, the 10, and a big defensive play for a team that is used to making them. And a nightmare for Chad Kelly too, as sees the Alouettes intercept one of his passes and set them up in great shape.
Yeah, Argonauts already backed up in their own territory. We'll get a great look here from the spider cam at what Chad Kelly sees. Just an overthrow. It appeared he was looking for David Ungerer there. The ball sails on him. Into the waiting arms of Deontay Ruffin.
And for Ruffin, that's his 5th interception of the season. He leads the Alouettes. The last time Kelly faced the Owls was the East Final last year. He was picked off 4 times. Montreal's in business. It's a 1st and goal just inside the 10. For Fajardo now. Looking off to his right. It is caught, and it is a touchdown for Walter Fletcher. So just like that, the turnover, and then the points off it. As they cash in on the pick by Deontay Ruffin.
Walter Fletcher is just going to free release from the backfield. He's on the hash mark behind the quarterback. Free release to the flat. Quick shot on the money for Cody Fajardo. Fletcher fighting past a couple of defenders at the goal line to make it count.
6th touchdown of the season for Fletcher. He has 3 rushing, and then that 3rd one receiving there with Jose Maltos on now for the point after try. This Alouette team, in terms of the standings, no longer has anything to play for. You wouldn't know it at this point. With that one hitting the upright and bouncing through. So it is another point of the board in the narrowest of ways for Maltos, but converting on the Fletcher touchdown and cashing in on the Ruffin pick. And it's now Montreal leading it.
Are the statistic that is the most accurate predictor of the outcome of football games. An early one here for the Toronto Argonauts, a demonstration of why. Deontay Ruffin with the pick to get things started. Where have we seen this before? Well, just a week ago. Ruffin, 79-yard interception return touchdown. The win against Ottawa last week.
Well, that gave the Owls the early lead. They never looked back, beating Ottawa on the road. Here on the road in Toronto, Walter Fletcher with the touchdown after that pick. Number 5 in the season for Deontay Ruffin. We nearly had one here, by the way, right at the end of the game in the Eastern Final. Just before they basically went into victory formation. I mean, would have been fitting just given the job the defense did last year in that East Final.
A dominant performance, smothering the Argos, forcing them into mistakes.
Well, the Argos have seen this before at Montreal. Maltos to kick it off. Little short kick, trying to catch him napping.
It's too much on it.
It's too much. David Dallaire chasing it, but nobody touched it. It went out of bounds, and the Argos will have great field position to start.
Kickoff. Montreal number 72. First down, Toronto at the point where the ball went out of bounds.
Yeah, I like the thinking with the call at that time from Montreal. Let's try and really catch Toronto off guard, continue the momentum. And you just wonder, again, if the slickness of the field led to this one skidding out of bounds a little bit more quickly than it might have, preventing David Dallaire on the outside from getting to it. You see special teams coordinator Byron Archambault, the Montreal Alouettes.
So 1st and 10 from the Alouette 48, Kadeem Carey. And he grinds it down to the 40. So, hey, the Alouettes, they get the lead off the turnover and just trying a little trick. And the Argos, in this situation, up by 4. Doesn't pay off, and see what the Argos can do with the good field position.
Yeah, and, you know, the key for the Toronto Argonauts is really, in my opinion, remaining committed to that run game, because a lot of what Montreal's premise is, and the first series sums it up, is that not every run's going to go for more than 5 or 6 yards.
Handing off, this time it's Deontay McMahon in, and he is a good pickup, cuts it back to the right, has the first down, has it down to about the 32 of the Owls. So yeah, that's the one thing really going well for the Argos as they trail in this game, is how well they've been running the football, and not just with one running back. Yeah,
and they've got to keep running it, as we'll take a look here at the cutback from Deontay McMahon. He's going to start off to the left. You see the whole offensive line flow going that way. Montreal over pursues. McMahon takes advantage and cuts it back. You think on the first series, they have success running the football on all those plays, but as soon as they get into 2nd and long.
And now it's Dan Adeboboye, so using all 3 again in the drive, although this time he's met with a wall right up front. Derek Wigan there and not going anywhere, but yeah, using all 3 again.
Yeah, and so you get into 2nd and long, and that's Montreal's premise, is that eventually in running the ball, you might move the ball a little bit on the run, but eventually you're going to find yourself in a 2nd and long situation, have to throw the football, and they feel like they're going to stop you in those situations. They're going to make plays on you.
Here we go in a 2nd and long. Just round the 30. Kelly. Down to an open receiver inside the 10. It is caught. It's Tavares Daniels, who had a big game last week, losing narrowly to the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but Daniels has it, and it's a 1st and goal coming up here for Toronto.
Big play on 2nd and long here. Chad Kelly under pressure, but keeps his poise, shows some patience. Tavares Daniels slips in behind the linebackers in front of the DBs. Kelly finds them.
And Mackay Polk gets that as they run tempo. They go quickly, and Polk has it, takes it down just inside the 5. It'll be a 2nd and goal coming up. Polk's had touchdowns in back-to-back games last week, and then at BC Place before that. And for Daniels last week, 4 catches for 118 yards, including a 66-yarder that led to an Argo touchdown and the lead at the time over the Ticats. Adeboboye cuts it right back to the left, and they blow the whistle. He was down. Tried to keep his feet. Tyrese Beverette. Well, the Alouettes are 2 of the top tacklers, 2 of the top defensive players in the Canadian Football League, Beverette and Sankey.
We'll take a look here. Adeboboye still didn't seem convinced that he was down. He felt that he kept the knees off the ground there when he got his left hand down. We'll take a closer look right here. That looked like the left knee hit.
3rd and goal. Argos are going for it. Or are they? Just trying to draw him offside. Waiting for the snap of the ball, and yet to come. Play clock down to 5 seconds. And Kelly tries again. It looks like they're going to be settling for a field goal. They let it run down. Kelly comes off.
Time count violation. Toronto number 12. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
And Hyralau will come on.
What's the towel?
Looked for a moment that Darnell Sankey might have been a little bored with what Chad Kelly was trying.
Yeah, I think he was suggesting he has seen this tactic before.
He's seen it before. The Alouettes weren't biting there. Ira Loud to go 2 for 2 on that short one. So 3 more on the board. Darnell Sankey. Oh, now we got a little meeting afterwards, but this was Sankey's reaction. You're not going to draw us offside. Try something else. Home and survivors of residential schools as well as their families and communities. Thank you. 1st and 10 for the Montreal 40. Alouettes. It's Julian Grant. And he's tackled shortly after by Tavares McFadden. This is after the Argos settled for 3 more and cut Montreal's lead to 1.
Yeah, nonetheless, good response drive for the Toronto Argonauts after what could have been a big momentum shifter with the interception and the quick touchdown by the Alouettes. Argos taking advantage of that short kickoff by Montreal, short field.
So 2nd and 7 now. The Alouette 43. 4 receivers out to the left. That's where Fajardo's looking. Pump fake. Steps up, wants to take off now, and he does. Takes a hit, and he gets it up across the 45. Still a few yards shy of a 1st down.
Yeah, Argos doing a good job there containing Fajardo on the scramble. Forcing him up the middle, rallying to the football. Robbie Smith amongst those getting in on the play.
In his 5th year at Laurier in the Grey Cup of the Argos in 2022. Joseph Zima, the punter for Montreal, standing inside his 35 for Janarian Grant. We'll wait for this inside his 20. Grant takes it back to the 15. And good coverage on teams again by the Alouettes. Alex Gagne, the veteran, in there. Chad Kelly, to look back at the last time he faced the Alouettes in the East Final here last November, and that was really the turning point of their opening drive, moving down the interception for a touchdown by Marc-Antoine.
Yeah, seemed to change the game right off the bat. The Argos were doing well offensively, and then that play came second half. They hit a stretch where they really struggled, and that included Kabian Ento pick 6. Again, dominant performance by the Montreal Alouettes defense that just seemed to be in Chad Kelly's head on that day.
Well, if you factor in all the turnovers on downs as well, 9 times Toronto turned the ball over in that day. And the flag is out for apparently a face mask on that run by Kadeem Carey. But complete dominance by the Alouette defense to get them to the Grey Cup. And boy, against Winnipeg, the offense certainly did its part.
Toronto number 64. 10-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
It's the left guard. Flag for the hold, Dylan Giffen. In for Ryan Hunter, who had to move out to tackle after the injury to Isaiah Cage.
Yeah, Giffen started at left guard a couple weeks ago when Hunter was absent himself for the birth of his 1st child.
Dejan Brissett has the ball. First touch for Brissett since week 3 against Edmonton. That was back in late June. He got hurt in that game, a knee injury, and this is his 1st game back.
Yeah, Brissett had a career high receiving yards and receptions last year. His first real opportunity to start after being the 2nd overall pick in the draft back in 2020.
So you got some of the yardage back. 7 of it. It's still 2nd and long, though. 13 to go from the Toronto 19. A 7-6 game. Montreal. Kelly has time. He looks deep. Over the middle. It's caught. Mackay Polk. Duquois chasing him. Tries to stiff arm him, and he's ultimately taken down inside the Montreal 15. Well, another trademark of Kelly and the Argo offense, the ability to make big plays, and they certainly made one there.
Yeah, and absolutely huge against a Montreal defense. I mean, this is the thing that they are built not to give up. The Argos make him pay. Mackay Polk working out of the slot. Finds the seam between the halfback Ruffin just to the left side of your screen and the free safety Dequoy. Gets in behind and Kelly. Deep ball was his calling card last year. Lays it on Polk perfectly there.
Pickup of 76 yards. Kelly to Mackay Polk. So here come the Argos, down 1 in the red zone, but Kelly is taken down just outside the red zone. Jeffrey Cantaracu among the Alouettes there. What a great season for this rookie linebacker. High draft pick for Montreal to take Kelly down.
Yeah, things a little slow to develop there in terms of the pattern. Chad Kelly didn't have anywhere to go with the football.
Here we go, base.
And the Alouette defense gets there. Cantaracu just snugged up into the line. 2 blockers for 3 rushers on that right side.
So second down and 17 all of a sudden. Kelly on the run again. Pointing, looking, end zone, deep. It's caught, but it's outside the back of the end zone. Tommy Neal had it, but it gone too far. And that was the last play of the first quarter, with the Argos once again in field goal position. They'll start the second looking to take the lead over the Alouettes, who cashed in on the interception by Deontay Ruffin and a touchdown for Walter Fletcher. But you look at the numbers, it looks like Argo dominance, which it is, but turnovers, huge to set up Montreal for its touchdown.
Yeah, exactly. Montreal having a short field after the Deontay Ruffin interception in Argo territory, so they hold the lead despite that time of possession. But you combine the time of possession with the fact that Toronto has run the ball a fair bit. That's what they're built to do. You know, they continue to dominate that way at the line of scrimmage. They can wear down the Montreal defense over the course of this football game.
As mentioned, the Alouettes knew before this game started, I assume they knew, that they clinched first in the East Division with Ottawa losing in Saskatchewan. And so here, Lirim Haralau will line up for a field goal. This one inside the 30. John Haggerty to put it down at about the 28. But yes, the Alouettes know they've got first. So now Jason Moss, as Haralau puts it through, technically, if you count this game, Dwayne, that's 4 games to go when they know they have first wrapped up. Ryan Dinwiddie last year found out with about 6 games to go, a third of the season, that they had wrapped up first place, and that presents a different set of challenges for a head coach.
Yeah, it certainly does. It's always the rest versus rust debate. We talk about it every year when the first place team has the bye, especially these situations. So when a team does clinch a little bit early prior to the end of the season, and you've got to find that balance. And I think it's going to be interesting to watch with Jason Moss, because he's a guy who is so much about a culture of competition around his team that I suspect he may have a rough time giving too many guys time off.
Montreal ball now trailing by 2. Off to the right, it's Julian Grant with it, up near a first down. Coming in is McFadden, and Wynn McMahon is chasing him out as well. But yeah, it's an interesting way of looking at it. As look at this play again for Fajardo.
Well, we know Julian Grant is terrific after the catch, a guy that Montreal will so often get the ball in his hands close to the line of scrimmage. This part of one of the contributing factors in Cody Fajardo's great completion percentage is he has had guys like Julian Grant, Tyson Philpott, another one obviously on the injured list now, but has been a big part of this offense that can make plays, make people miss after that catch.
Dominic Davis, ball comes out, and it belongs to the Argos. It was a short yardage try for the Alouettes, and more evidence of the slick conditions. We saw one squirt away from Davis earlier. They were saved by a penalty, but this time Benji Franklin coming in just couldn't find the handle on this ball.
Yeah, just didn't get it cleanly. Pops out to Davis's right. Benji Franklin coming off the edge for the Argos. Gets himself a gift.
So now 1-1 on the turnover scoreboard, and the Argos will try to do what the Alouettes did when they had coughed it up, take it in for a touchdown. Certainly need the points off it right now. And running it straight up. Good solid run. Helmet coming off, getting carried down to the Alouette 30 and a first down.
When we talk about gaps, inside gaps, A, B, that second gap between guard and tackle. Watch that B gap on the right side open up on this run. Things get washed down. Tackle Dejon Allen closes it up. Kadeem Carey doing what he does best, just getting downhill, running north-south.
Good hole opened up on the right side of that line. Carey runs right through it. Play action fake. Kelly rolling to the right. A flag comes out. Hits the target. Coxie as he's sliding down, though, falling as he was trying to catch it, and that's incomplete.
Legal contact on a receiver, Montreal number 94. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's going to go against the defensive tackle, Mustafa Johnson. Presumably his receiver was trying to release from the backfield.
So a 1st and 10 down to the 22. Handing off. Carey again. Fighting and breaking tackles. Picks up a hard-earned couple of yards there for a 2nd down and long coming up.
Good hard run from Kadeem Carey, the Alouettes. Doing a terrific job holding their ground at the line of scrimmage.
The Argos come in at 7-7. It certainly helps them that Ottawa lost today in Saskatchewan, but hurts them that Hamilton had that terrific comeback at BC Place last night to win it in overtime. Now the Ticats breathing down their necks, just 2 points behind. Kelly coming across is under him. Down inside the 5. Pushed out by Cantar-Coup, and we've got a 1st and goal coming up here for Toronto.
And take a look at this one on left tackle, Ryan Hunter. A little different footwork, but watch the quickness as he gets out there to wash the rusher past Kelly. Again, Hunter usually a guard, one of the top guards in the Canadian Football League. Asked to work out in space and tackle on this one.
The running back is out of Aboye. It's a 1st and goal at the 3. He has it. He spins. And he keeps pulling his way down to about the 2. And that's about it. 2nd and goal coming up. And Isaac Adeyemi Berglund lamenting the fact they could have had him further back.
Get a great look here at the physicality at the line of scrimmage. Bryce Cosby, the nickel linebacker, stepped up to take on a block right at the point of attack. Keep that one from opening up.
2nd and goal. Backfield empty. Kelly facing some heat from Bryce Cosby. Trying to get away. Trying to get it into the end zone, but he can't. So down he goes about the line of scrimmage. 3rd down coming up. Field goal unit coming on.
Yeah, nice effort by Chad Kelly here, but a little like a video game character that ran out of lives. There he's on his 2nd, his 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Darnell Sankey bringing him to the turf.
So Liram Hairola, who's 3 for 3 on the night already. This one will be put down right at the 10. They wanted the touchdown, of course, but they need points. Can't afford to mess around with this. Needing a win. Hairola puts it through 4 for 4. So they increase their lead to 5. Thinking it could have been more, getting so close to the goal line. But Kelly just couldn't see. Getting critical for them as well after they saw that lead disappear against the Cats and lost it in overtime. That's next Friday night, week 18 in the CFL. Alouettes, they're down 12-7, and that is Tyler Sneed, recently returned to the Montreal lineup after he was injured an opening night in Winnipeg.
Yeah, it's been that revolving door through the receiving corps for Montreal this season. Both Sneed and Keon Julian Grant returning a couple of games ago. Was Austin Mack and Tyson Philpott, the latest Owls receivers to go to the injured list. Sneed, obviously a huge part of Montreal's Grey Cup run last year.
Cody Fajardo on the 1st and 10. Tries to set up a screen. Down shy of the 50. That thing is going nowhere. That's the fullback, David Dallaire. Lost yardage for Montreal.
Yeah, Dallaire did well to reach above the crowd of blue jerseys to come down with this football. He's lined up just to the right of the quarterback, number 39. Fullback in the ball game. Show block. Slip around. And a great play by Tunde Adeleke, who gets the start today at the nickel linebacker spot. Robert Priester, a late scratch in place of the injured Quincy Moget. The versatility of Adeleke, Carleton product paying off.
2nd and 13. And dumps it off there to Reggie White. And he does pick up a few yards. There's Adeleke again, wrestling him down, but it'll be a 3rd down coming up here, and the Alouettes punting unit coming on.
I thought Tunde Adeleke was a rather astute free agent signing by Toronto this offseason, having spent the last few years in Hamilton, originally a Calgary draft pick back in 2017. They had Royce Mechie at free safety, but Adeleke has shown he can play different positions on the back end. Made a number of starts at field half for Hamilton in his career, playing nickel today. Could play field corner for you in a pinch as well.
And remember, Adeleke and Mechie were on the depth together in Calgary at safety with the Stampeders before Adeleke went to Hamilton. Here's the punt return now from Deontay McMahon. Up around the 20. Argos, the Owls. Let's go back to Matthew Shinetti for more on the recognition of the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation.
Rod, it's my pleasure to be joined by Emily Kirgishik from Saugeen First Nation, an Anishinaabe artist who designed the Argos logo that's on their helmets today. Emily, when I was looking into the design, you speak so much about the interconnectedness of all living things and why it's important to your work. What do you want to express through this logo?
I want to express that we are all connected in one way or another, and the only way forward is together.
In terms of being together, when we're on this path of truth and reconciliation, truth is important and it comes first. What does it mean to you to know that this symbol is on the helmet of the oldest professional football team in the world? And what does it mean about getting maybe just a little step closer to that truth?
It's very meaningful because this is true, authentic Indigenous storytelling and representation. This is something that we've needed for a long time. I never saw myself represented in the media when I was growing up, and to see it now and to be able to show that through my art is very meaningful. And it is a good step forward for truth and reconciliation because we've brought so many people here together. I've brought so many people from my community and other communities across Ontario, and people are tuning in across the country. And so for them to see the logo, I think it's awesome. Yeah.
Emily, thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matthew and Emily. And more running here for the Argos, who are running the ball at about a rate of 2-to-1 compared to how much they're passing it right now.
Yeah, and again, it's about knowing your opponent and feeling that this is their greatest advantage against an Alouettes defense that makes so many plays against the pass. And I mean, not to suggest that they don't against the run, but it's guarding against those big plays. You've got to try and soften them up with the run if you're going to throw over the top.
Making the run, throwing it out to Deontay McMahon, who has to turn back, go the other way. And he's got something going with this. What a play by McMahon as he gets some blocking, and he works his way all the way down around the 35 of Montreal, and a flag coming out late as he's taken down. But talk about making something out of nothing, as they had everything off to the left side all sealed off.
And this is the thing that the Toronto Argonauts loved about.
Face mask on the tackle. Montreal 15 yards out of the end of the play. First down.
Deontay McMahon, when they brought him in last season, this playmaking ability, a little jitterbug in the backfield. And that ability to make people
Face mask
miss.
is on 37 Montreal. 37.
So they call Wesley Sutton taking McMahon out on a face mask call. It gets down to just outside the 20 now, and that big pickup by Deontay McMahon. A 1st and 10 for the Argos, up by 5. The offense has been on the field an awful lot in this first half. Dan Adeboboye, the ball carrier, to pick up a couple there. 2nd and long coming up here for the Argos. Still without a touchdown in this game.
Just take a look back at the tail end of the Deontay McMahon run. Wesley Sutton finally tracks him down, but you saw the left hand catch the face mask.
Adeboboye, the running back now for Toronto. Stays into block. Flag comes out. And the intended receiver is Coxie, and Sutton is right there, but a flag out just as Kelly was getting rid of the ball. The referee, Tim Croker, tonight.
Offside, Montreal number 26. 5-yard penalty, repeat second down.
They get their great will linebacker, Tyrese Beverett, on that offside. 5 yards up, and it's a 2nd and short now. Second and 3. Montreal 14. Adeboboye. He breaks through. Down to the 5. And a 1st and goal coming up again for the Argos.
Take a look at the work of the interior of this Toronto Argonauts offensive line. Getting the job done. Peter Nicastro at center. 2 new guards. We've talked about Dylan Giffen on the left. Rookie Anthony Vandal out of Sherbrooke has started the last number of games at right guard.
Kelly hands off. Kadeem Carey. 3-2-1 touchdown. Helmets off again. But he's celebrating the first TD of the game for the Toronto Argonauts. Touchdown number 6 on the ground for Kadeem Carey, and this is first year with the Argos.
And the Toronto Argonauts, as we talked about, committing to the ground game. Going to keep running that rock until Montreal forces them to do something different. And they're wearing out the Alouettes at the line of scrimmage.
The payoff with all that running that they've done. Carey, 9 runs for 80 yards and that touchdown. In a 7-play, 90-yard drive in just over 3 minutes with Hyra Lau to convert the Argos' first touchdown of the night. They open up their lead to 19-7, and a whole lot of running along the way. Kadeem Carey.
Well, the story of this game so far has been what Toronto has been able to do on the ground, a rushing attack. 3-headed monster, but led by the Argos starting running back, Kadeem Carey. Just crossed the line for their most recent touchdown. He has been on fire from the word go in this one. You know, we often talk about guys who are party starters on defense. Kadeem Carey is that guy who brings the energy for the Argos
shout out
zone.
to my mommy, love you. Obviously, wifey, kids. That one for you, man. Finally got in there. Long day, though. We got to break that thigh out.
One of the happiest guys you ever talk to when he travels in the CFL, too. But that helmet, by the way, just doesn't want to stay on. Here's James Letcher, and a flag comes out on the kick return. And that's Fraser Sopek on special teams, but also prominent on that Argonauts defense this year with that special teams tackle.
Illegal block, Montreal number 49. 10-yard penalty, 1st down Montreal.
Well, for Jason Mott shaking his head, aside from the interception by Ruffin leading to the touchdown, this has been thoroughly dominant by the Argos in this game, statistically anyway, and 12 points up on the board.
Yeah, I mean, everybody comes in with a game plan. They can't all work out perfectly. Right now, it's the Argos game plan working very effectively, particularly when you talk about offense.
Among the stats that are really one-sided is the running game. The Alouettes run there, but they haven't had much success with it. Before that play, the difference in rushing yards was 155-3 in favor of Toronto. And
again, it's that combination between how Toronto is moving the ball offensively, and you talk about the run game, the physicality, etc., but also the fact that they have been on the field so much and kept Montreal's defense on the field a lot. The Owls need a drive offensively.
Trying to get something going here as it floats. A flag comes out as Fajardo got rid of it, intending it there for Cold Speaker, and it heads out of bounds. That was on a 2nd and long, so pending the flag, we could have a 3rd down coming up here against the Owls.
Holding Montreal number 65. Penalties declined. 3rd down.
It is indeed a 3rd down. The Alouettes, as mentioned, found out before the game they have wrapped up 1st place in the East Division for their outstanding season. So this game and the remaining 3, they know that they're hosting the East Final, and they know that they'll be 1 win away in November from getting back to the Grey Cup for a 2nd straight year and a chance to defend their title. But it's how to approach those games in the interim, including this one here where they are down and haven't lost a road game in over a year. Joseph Zima to punt. Argo dominance in this 1st half. Punt sails to the right. Takes a hop out of bounds. Kadeem Carey, former Calgary Stampeder. He comes over in free agency, and cash and carry, making the most of his time in double blue. And if you look at the projections, he's on pace for career highs in both carries and rush yards.
Yeah, you heard Kadeem Carey allude to the fact that he wants to get that 1,000 mark, reach that milestone. He's well on his way, off to a terrific start.
In front of 42. That one is knocked down. At first, it was Bryce Cosby jumping up in the passing lane of Chad Kelly, who pulled it down and tried again, and it was still knocked away. 2nd down.
Well, here's one of those 2nd and longs that the Argos have done a decent job of avoiding. We'll see what Montreal shows them here.
Yemi Berglund stopping him. Darnell Sankey as well. So a 2 and out this time for the Argos. And that is the 3-minute warning, getting close to halftime. The Argos are up by 12 points.
Getting closer and closer to halftime, which means these guys have got to get back to work. No more fun, guys. All work. The Argos running all over the Owls in that 1st half. Let's get you back to BMO Field, Rod and Dwayne.
Oh, Laura, fun's over? Fun can't be over. It'd be fun at halftime, too. We're waiting for that. We'll be interested to hear what you all have to say about, well, the Alouettes clinching 1st place in the East before they hit the field against the Argos, who are in at 7-7, and a lot is undecided for Toronto. John Haggerty is back. First 2 and out by that Argo offense in this game. Sending it to James Letcher inside the 10. Out to the right. Cuts it back. And he's down around the 25. Cody Fajardo's 8 for 9, but for only 46 yards, and that touchdown to Walter Fletcher.
Yeah, limited opportunity. You know, you kind of do the math on it and think averaging about 5 yards per pass attempt. Not translating to a lot of 1st downs for the Alouettes.
And they have not been on the field very much. Time of possession over 19 minutes in this half for the Argos, 8.5 minutes for the Owls. From the Montreal 25 and a 1st and 10 over the middle and caught 2. That's Charleston Rambo with it. Up near a 1st down. Right around the 35 it is, enough to move the sticks for the Alouettes.
After a bit of a slow start to the season, getting a feel for the Canadian Football League, Charleston Rambo has emerged as the Alouettes' 2nd leading receiver. coming in today with 758 yards on 51 catches.
It's a team missing Austin Mack and Tyson Philpott. Rung again, it's caught. Biggest play of the day for the Alouette offense. That's Cole Speaker hauling it down, taking it all the way to the Toronto 35. So finally, here comes Montreal.
Yeah, see Speaker lined up. This is a bit of a wing there. Widens. Knows once he gets past that linebacker, he just kind of wraps around into space, throttles down a little bit so he doesn't go flying full speed into the next level of DBs. Recognizes he's in a little bit of space. Cody Fajardo spotting that as well, dropping the ball in there for Cole Speaker.
Will always have a place in the hearts of Alouettes fans for big catches in the Grey Cup last year. Fajardo, deep right, open, touchdown! We were just talking about Cole Speaker, but a flag is out right back near the line of scrimmage. And it looks like going against the Argos.
Major foul roughing the passer. Toronto number 48. That 15-yard penalty will be applied on the kickoff. Touchdown is good.
Got Wynton McManus rubbing the passer, but Cole Speaker hauls it in. A couple of big catches that move the Owls down quickly. That's his 7th touchdown of the season.
Yeah, McManus was flagged. You see him come in a little bit late, but not before Cody Fajardo, whose ability to throw the deep ball has often been questioned over his career. I'll tell you, that one was right on the money.
Just a beautiful pass by Cody Fajardo. Touchdown pass for him on the season is number 14. And number 17 there. Speakers mentioned 7th touchdown, and this one gets Montreal right back in this game before halftime.
Yeah, and you caught a little pump fake there. Fake hitch from Cody Fajardo. Benji Franklin thinks that Cole Speaker's coming to block him. He settles, getting ready to take on the block. Meanwhile, Speaker runs in behind him. Nice execution on the play from the Alouettes. Here it is from Fajardo's end. You just got the tail end of that hitch, that pump fake. You'll see Wynton McManus coming from depth here. Continues late, and you see him follow through and drill Cody Fajardo. But not before the damage is done. Great response for the Alouettes on that drive after being really dominated through 28 minutes.
Well, they really have, and as I say, statistically where it matters least, except for the scoreboard, of course, and on that, they're back to within 5 points, back to within a score. Even though, as mentioned, the Argos have had the ball for much of this first half. And they've had times, too, where they took some points off the board when they had goal to go, got down to the 3, ended up kicking a field goal instead of going for it on the 3rd down. A long kick. And to take a knee is Janarian Grant. Another point on the board. 4-point game now, 1:37 to go. Maltos with the kick for the single, and Kelly coming back on now. A game that is much more important for the Toronto Argonauts right now as it stands than it is for the Alouettes, who've clinched first place, and the Argos at 7-7, 3 points behind the Ottawa Red Blacks, who lost in Saskatchewan, only 2 points ahead of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. They're really on a roll. They've won the season series over the Argos. They've won 4 straight, and they're not out of it yet. They host Winnipeg next week. They had another dramatic win. BC Place last night in overtime, coming back to do it. It's Kadeem Carey. He's had a terrific first half. And the receiving end there as he's pushed out of bounds, largely for his running, where he has 80 yards.
Yeah, they kind of sneak Kadeem Carey out the backside into the flat on this one. They'll be coming right at you. Alouettes kind of late to pick him up.
4-point Argo lead, a minute and a 1.5 to go until the half. Isaac Adeyemi Berglund nearly had Kelly, who throws it away. Rolled out to the right and just gets rid of it. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Yeah, you can see where the pressure comes from here as the tackle. Allen is going to widen. 3 rushers coming on that right side, including the linebacker Cosby looping to the inside. He's the one that forces Kelly from the pocket. Wise decision by the Argo quarterback to airmail that one.
2nd down. Pressure coming, gets rid of it. Caught. And Daniels has it at about the 50 as far as he got. It'll be 3rd down coming up. Punting unit coming on, and John Haggerty. And the Alouettes will still have a little bit of time left before the end of the half. Laura Dyken, Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Jim Barker.
Are you as surprised as I am that Laura keeps letting Kate talk her into babysitting these guys?
Well, you know, Kate needs a break from them every now and then. You know, I can understand that. And LD's doing a terrific job with it as well.
Yes, she is.
John Haggerty, 2nd in the CFL and net punting average. James Fletcher. Oh, he manages to find some room down the sideline. Fletcher's still going. Picks up a block. He is gone. Touchdown, Alouettes. Fletcher does it again. Byron Archambault, special teams coordinator. Chest bumps for everybody there. Just like last November, when the Argos had momentum, it was Letcher on a kickoff that time to take it away, this time on a punt return.
Yeah, and you get it where you want it. Haggerty puts it outside the numbers, but Letcher somehow able to get to the sideline, and then it's just a straight sprint from there. Off to the races.
2nd return touchdown of the season for James Letcher, who really burst on the scene late last year after the injury to Chandler Worthy. His other touchdown this year was on a missed field goal in Saskatchewan.
It does nothing to help Montreal's time of possession, but it sure helps them on the scoreboard as they take the lead.
Incredibly, the Alouettes look like they'll be heading to halftime leading it. They got a 3-point lead right now, outplayed through much of the first half, but some big plays on offense, and then the big return by Letcher.
Yeah, again, well-placed kick between the numbers and the sideline, but that one little move to escape, little lateral skip to the sideline where he finds a lane. James Letcher had such an impact the 2nd half of last season when he took over as Montreal's return man. Remember, it was all about Javon Leake in Toronto the first half of the year, but it was Letcher in the 2nd half.
Well, you talk about complementary football, offense, defense, special teams. Even though the stats, for what they're worth, favor Toronto in this game, they got a big series from their offense just moments ago, and a couple of big plays to Cole Speaker and passes by Cody Fajardo. They had the big defensive play. Enjoying the big defensive play, the pick by Ruffin to set up the touchdown, and then special teams.
Yeah, both getting it done. The offense perking up in between with a couple of big plays to Cole Speaker to find the end zone. But all 3 phases definitely contributed to 22 Montreal points in this first half.
Deontay McMahon on the return up across the 40. Bear in mind, the Alouettes, we showed you earlier, have that impressive road unbeaten streak. They're 6-0-1 this season. No other team in the CFL is even at 500. Every other team is a losing record on the road, and the Alouettes haven't lost on the road yet. They haven't lost on the road since here at BMO Field on September 9th, 2023, over a year ago. And that was shortly after they lost to the Argos one more time the next week, and then Fajardo and the Alouettes went on a run. Won their next 8 straight, including 3 playoff games and that Grey Cup victory over Winnipeg. Here's Kelly. Deep, late in the half for Coxie. And falls incomplete. 23 seconds on the clock. And for all the Argos have done or seem to be doing, at least in terms of moving the football, have to be in a bit of shock right now to see they're behind by 3.
Yeah, the way that the first half of this game has gone, as we've said, far more consistent than Montreal offensively, dominating the time of possession, but a couple of big plays for Montreal, one in each of the 3 phases of the game, really. One on offense, one on defense, one on special teams, all leading to majors.
2nd and 10. Kelly tries to dump it off, and he does nicely to Coxie. Makes something out of this. Coxie, well, at least gets it down into field goal range with 12 seconds on the clock, and Kelly alertly able, when he looked like he was facing the sack, get rid of it.
Yeah, fantastic effort here by both quarterback and receiver. Coxie's the outlet. Montreal is sitting so far back because they just don't want to give up a big one right at the end of the half. A nice effort by Coxie after the catch.
And Kelly's looking deep. Down the rail on the right, and the coverage is good. He was looking for Coxie again. 3 seconds, so Hairolau is going to have to come out and see if they can tie this game at the half. They're at the 42.
Yeah, I watched Lirim pretty closely in pregame, and he was hitting some from midfield. No question it's within his range.
He said he's 4 for 4 on the night. So making him 45 of 49 in the season. His longest is 51. And this one would be just shy of 50, but 49 were Haggerty to put it down. Would allow the Argos to salvage something with this late first half resurgence by the Alouettes to at least go into the dressing room tied up. Last play of the half. Hairolau is 5 for 5 in that first half. 22-22. Interesting first 30 minutes, ultimately, the way it all played out.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And I'm curious, given the trend, you and I talked about it a little bit during the week, 3 games this year Montreal hasn't won, 2 losses and a tie. In all of those games, they trailed after each of the first 3 quarters. Interesting in this one, they were ahead after the first quarter, went behind after the first play of the second quarter, a field goal, tied at halftime. It'd be fascinating to see how it plays out for a Montreal team that, you know, typically has struggled when they haven't been able to get ahead. They haven't really been able to get ahead in this one.
Well, in this early on, a tied game after a lot of dominance through much of that first half by the Argos, although not on the scoreboard. And there's Letcher getting ready to go to work again because the Alouettes will get the ball to start the second half. They come in at 11-2-1. They have wrapped up first place in the East Division with Ottawa's loss earlier today. Trying to keep the unbeaten streak on the road intact. And Letcher, after talking to Matthew, he gets the ball and he gets it up near the 50. Another good return for James Letcher. There's an injured Argo down on the field.
Well, not a 100-yard touchdown, but a pretty good return to start the half for James Letcher, taking this one wide side. You can see the convoy setting up in front of him.
I can see that.
Kerfella Exime is the injured player getting attention. There he is.
Well, former Alouette and Winnipeg Blue Bomber. Ryan Dinwiddie out to check on his injured special teamer,
who played his college ball in Montreal with the Carabins for Danny Machocha, now the general manager, of course, of the Alouettes. Danny Machocha, the reward for all the moves made last year was that Grey Cup title, and like every GM in the league has certainly faced his challenges this year with all the injuries, and there have been steady changes, but they haven't missed a beat really overall since winning the Grey Cup.
No, they haven't. And you know, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact Danny Maciocia and Jason Moss are just so much on the same page in terms of everything they do. Philosophically, they are so well aligned. These guys, their history goes back to Danny as coach and Jason as one of his quarterbacks in Edmonton. And I know whether it was Jason starting or Ricky Ray starting, Jason was a guy that Danny valued so much as a leader on those teams in Edmonton. Won a couple of Grey Cups together, and obviously the opportunity arose last year for the two of them to work together again, and it resulted in another cup ring for both of them.
And it was really around this time too that they went on that long winning streak and never looked back. His former collegiate player, Kerfella Exame of the Argos, the injured player. We'll take a break and be back at BMO. Academy Award nominee Colin Farrell, The Penguin, an HBO original limited series, is streaming now, and it is only on Crave. Rod Smith, Wayne Ford, Matthew Shinetti back here at BMO Field in Toronto. It's the final game of Week 17. It's getting late. Just 4 more weeks of football after this, and then we start thinking of the playoffs, and the Alouettes can look ahead to hosting the Eastern Final. Of course, a lot of games they have to play before then, but they have wrapped up first. The Argos still with a lot undecided coming into this game at 7-7. We get a tie game early second half. Montreal ball now. Handing off, trying to get the running game going. That's Walter Fletcher, who had the first touchdown of this game on a reception, and he carries that one and gets it across midfield.
Interesting to see Montreal on this run play line up in a tight end formation. They get the fullback lined up on this side. Watch what he does in terms of the blocking scheme. Not taking anybody on, but Dallaire showing block and taking off up the seam. We'll see if that turns into a pass play to him a little later, since nobody went with him.
2nd down and 2 after the 8-yard pickup. Taking the handoff, Fajardo keeps it. First down, he slides inside the 45. And the Alouettes running the ball. That was the biggest discrepancy of all the stats in the first half. Even now, coming into that play, 155-14 for the Argos, who would run the ball a lot in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely pounding the ball, and I think they had a pretty good formula in terms of competing with Montreal. And again, you're looking at the top team in the league, unbeaten on the road. Argos had them tied at halftime. Felt like they should have been ahead, but they got to be happy to be playing them even.
And the Alouettes, the 9th out of 9 teams in rushing yards per game, make it 3 straight running plays. Walter Fletcher again. It'll set up a 2nd and short here for Montreal.
And a little misleading, right? When often you think of a team with a record like Montreal's and you think, yeah, they're going to pile up rushing yards at the end of games. But they have such a high percentage passing attack that sort of replaces a lot of their run game.
And of course, that's something they had to think about in the roster when they let William Stanback go in free agency, signing on with the BC Lions. 2nd and 3. Here on the 37. Fajardo, he just swings it out there to Tyler Sneed, puts his head down and tries to roll to get the first down. Needs to get to the 35. That'll be close on this 2nd and 3 play.
The Argos defensively did a pretty good job flattening this one out, not allowing Sneed to get around the corner and really get his shoulders going north-south. You'll see Sneed come right to left through the backfield on this one. Just watch the pursuit of the Argos D. Nice job by Tavares McFadden, the field corner.
So not close enough to go for it. And so Jose Maltos has been admirable in the way he's filled in for David Cote early in the season. The highest field goal percentage in the CFL right now coming into this game. He'd only missed 2, 26 to 28 with the longest of 53. This one to put down inside the 45 for Maltos, but it's heading left. Just his 3rd miss of the season as Janarian Grant quickly takes a knee and relinquishes the lead for the Argos by the Rouge. Montreal in front again, 23-22. Of the individual, family, and community impacts of residential schools, and to promote the concept of every child matters. And something that's very important to the Canadian Football League. The official day for Truth and Reconciliation is on Monday, but we saw this in Winnipeg last night at BC Place and Mosaic Stadium and here today at BMO Field. Lots of orange shirts here in the crowd watching this game today. And Toronto has the football, and Kadeem Carey mentioned as a very busy time that, well, we saw a helmet go off and it was easy to assume it was his because it's happened twice. It wasn't that time. It was Dejon Allen, the big right tackle for the Argos. So 3 yards for Kadeem Carey. A 2nd and 7. And the Argos on that single now trailing again by 1. Swinging it out. Here's Carey. Got some space. A lot of momentum too. He ventures into the owl zone inside the 50. He's got it down to around the 47. First down Toronto.
Take a look at it, all the open space out to the left. Kadeem Carey's in the backfield. He's going to release, but you're just going to see a ton of open space as the Alouettes drop off. Nobody can really account for Carey. Nobody is within 15 yards of him, 20 yards of him when he catches that football.
He had some space, got up ahead of steam, down to the 47, first down, taking the handoff to Carey. Kelly buys himself some time, completes it to a wide open Demonte Coxie for another first down. Inside the 30, a pickup of 20 more yards for Toronto.
A nice route on the outside with Coxie, kind of a comeback along that sideline. Push the defense deep. Work back towards the ball on that sideline. Nice throw from Kelly as well.
From the 29, caught again. Mackay Polk right near another first down. Depending on where he stepped out of bounds, looked like it was just shy of the marker. So a 2nd and short coming up here for the Boatmen. Noel Thorpe, defensive coordinator of the Alouettes, and certainly remembered for the performance of that defense, certainly in the Grey Cup, but also mainly here at BMO Field last year, that Eastern Final, one of the more dominant performances we've seen in a long time by a defense. Darnell Sankey was a big part of that last November. He had one of the interceptions.
Yeah, some tweaks to that defensive lineup through the season. The acquisitions of Sankey and Sean Lemon. Walt Uguak becoming a starter. Reggie Stubblefield becoming a starter.
From the 17, Kelly steps up. And he takes off. And he slides down at the 5. And has another first down. First and goal coming up. Wanted to throw. A little pump fake and then couldn't find a receiver and does it himself.
I'll tell you my favorite part of this play from an Argo perspective is when Chad Kelly starts rolling to his right. You think about that game against Toronto last week and he throws the ball back into the middle. He's trying to force something, trying to make something to happen. Here he thinks better of it, uses the pump fake to get the defender off his feet, but knows that's a bad idea to throw that ball. Holds onto it, makes a much better decision with it, turning it into a positive play.
Here we go, first and goal of the Montreal 6, the toss to Deontay McMahon. Into the 5, touchdown Toronto. McMahon finds the end zone, and the Argos are back on top.
Now, we talked earlier in this ballgame about the quickness, the elusiveness of Deontay McMahon. We saw his speed when he reversed field on a run earlier in this ballgame, turned it into a big gainer, but here, just flat out outrunning the defenders to catch the corner of that end zone for the Argos. Touchdown.
He made his debut in the CFL in Montreal against the Alouettes last year, mid-season. And this year he has his 3rd rushing touchdown. Deontay McMahon, one of 3 running backs consistently used by the Argos, certainly over the last couple of weeks. And they go for 2, up by 5 now. Kelly to the right, knocked away nicely by Bryce Cosby. Cosby got a hand up and prevented any more points for the Argos there. So back to a 5-point lead on the McMahon touchdown. Close game at BMO Field. And a big one too for the Argonauts.
Looking back at that Argo touchdown, a couple of things I want you to watch. There's the halfback, Wesley Sutton. He's responsible for the slot back in this instance. And also be aware of Deontay McMahon in the backfield. As the slot motion's down, Sutton has to move in because he's in coverage with him. McMahon jump starts this on the out. Now Sutton is outflanked, and with the speed of McMahon and Sutton having, or McMahon having that head start on Sutton essentially, no way even a fast guy like Wesley Sutton can't catch Deontay McMahon in that race for the goal line.
Just took that angle right at the pylon and tucked it inside for the touchdown. And the two-point conversion try failed, so it's 28-23 Argos in Fletcher. And not this time. Some big returns against Toronto, including that 100-yard punt return touchdown in the first half. But out at the 30, Cody Fajardo, he is 12 of 13, only one incompletion, 131 yards, and a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, definitely pumped up those yardage numbers late in the first half, particularly a couple of big shots, including the touchdown to Cole Speaker.
He had back-to-back throws to Speaker, including a beautiful touchdown pass. They got them close, and then the return by Letcher put them ahead before the Argos came back to tie it before halftime. Now a 5-point game. Alouette ball. First down. Taking the handoff off to Speaker again. Good yardage after the catch. The Alouettes have players who excel at that. Speaker still going. And dragging some Argos along the way is Cole Speaker. So we've seen big plays. We talked about him. That time Speaker accounts for a lot of that big play.
Yeah, Cole Speaker channeling his inner fullback or tight end on this one. Catches the hitch. He's got three of his receiver buddies blocking for him. That gets him past the first wave, and Speaker, he's just going to drag the rest of the Argo defenders. Great effort.
Cole Speaker, third year out of Wisconsin lacrosse. Division III school. Inside the Argo zone. Near side of midfield, Fajardo. He's keeps it himself. And pushed down. McManus had him, and then Metier to finish it off.
Keep an eye on Winton McManus, number 48, the Toronto Argonauts middle linebacker. Just tracking the quarterback, stepping up to meet him in the hole. Talk about strength up the middle, and McManus and Metier, the free safety.
So Fajardo gets a yard on that carry. It's a 2nd and 9. Alouettes trying to answer back after the Argo touchdown. Running out of time, taken off again. Fajardo running, gets down to about the 46, 47 yard line. And not enough for a first down. Third down coming up.
Yeah, interesting to see Montreal's not going to go with their short yardage unit, and I know it's solid 1.5 yards, 2 yards they need here anyway, but think about the struggles handling the ball their short yardage unit had in the first half.
It's about 1.5 yards they need. Going for it on third down and throwing. And knocked away. The coverage was there. Mark Milton on Reggie White. And a good defensive play by Milton, getting back in the lineup at the start at boundary half. And celebrating that and a turnover on downs. They were in the Argo zone. It was third and a couple of yards. As you mentioned, no short yardage setup. Throwing and knocked away. Argo football still up by 5 in the third quarter.
After saying that Chad Kelly is such an incredible quarterback, he said the one thing we want to do is keep that pressure in the pocket. Yes, he can move his legs, but we want him to keep moving. And really, if he keeps patting that ball, if he's getting nervous, well, then that's good because we want to keep that pressure on him. We want to keep our eyes on him because we saw last time that he can give up a couple interceptions. If there's one, there might be two, and they might come in bunches, Rob.
We've seen that before, Matthew. That game especially, as they keep it on the ground. And that was in the first half. That was early in the game. A flag is out as well. But Dwayne, we remember the start of the second half, that third quarter when it's like Kelly kept doubling down and the Alouettes kept picking him off. 3 more in the quarter, including another pick 6 by Kabianenta.
Yeah, it was completely different than what we had seen from Kelly all year. It seemed as if on the Dequoy interception that he didn't see him. And it felt like after that, because he didn't see Dequoy on the first one, it was almost like he second-guessed himself on every throw after that and held on to it a little longer to make sure there wasn't a defender he wasn't seeing, and that holding on to the ball, the patting the ball that Dequoy refers to, resulted in those interceptions, allowed the defenders to get in position to make plays.
That play by Dequoy, though, when the Argos were impressively going down the field and looked like they were about to score, really changed everything. Oh, my goodness, Mustafa Johnson says hello there to Kadeem Carey.
Well, he may have just given the yardage back with the celebration. Fantastic defensive play by Johnson. Watch for Mustafa Johnson lined up.
10-yard misconduct foul against Montreal number 94. After the play, it's second down, 10 yards up.
Quick swim to the inside on Van Daal. Meets Kadeem Carey in the backfield, but it was the celebration, taunting after making that terrific defensive play.
Doing the flex and going up right in front of Carey. That earns him a misconduct foul for taunting, 10 yards. And you can just guess what Jason Moss thinks of that. Not liking that call against the Alouettes. Second down. Flags out again.
Procedure. Toronto number 58. 5-yard penalty, Ripken down.
And Anthony Van Daal. It's been a terrific story for the Toronto Argonauts this season. Stepping in for Gregor McKellar at that right guard spot. After being an 8th round pick, the 72nd overall pick in the draft last year. A year later, here he is starting.
Still 2nd and 19, though. Argos, Kelly completes that to Carey underneath. And Sankey and Beverett combined to take him down across the 50, but still 3rd down and a good 3-4 yards to go as the punting unit will come on for Toronto.
Well, Montreal able to overcome that penalty to get the stop. And Toronto will again put the ball in the hands of James Letcher.
That Letcher touchdown, 100 yards late in the half. Showed his game-breaking ability again. One of the leaders in combined yardage in the CFL, along with Janarian Grant. And Haggerty has been one of the best in the business, too. And he put it, that one in the touchdown, where he wanted to. This time, a little bit more to the right, but towards the middle of the field. And so here's Letcher again, and he's hit hard and taken down right away. Good coverage there by the Argos, down close to the 10-yard line. So
good to see Kerpela Exume has recovered well enough to completely disrupt that return. And if I can't make the tackle myself, I'll just push this blocker into you. Great job by Exume.
Who was injured down in the field earlier, but as you can see, he is just fine. Former Montreal Cataban.
That's another guy, another 8th round pick, 70th overall by Winnipeg back in 2019. Made his way onto the roster as a special teamer and has continued to be one of the best cover guys in the league ever since.
At the 12, 1st and 10. Montreal down 5 deep. Look down the right. Coverage is there and nearly intercepted by Tavares McFadden on Keon Julian Grant. It was McFadden who had the best shot at it, but just couldn't haul it in.
Yeah, Cody Fajardo is just going to load up and take a shot here. Putting his money on Keon Julian Grant to make a play. But McFadden gets in position here. Grant essentially has to wrestle it away from the defender.
Crowd picks up at BMO. Pressure coming on Fajardo in 2nd and 10. Into double coverage again for Reggie White. And Tunde Adeleke getting that start at strong side linebacker, the coverage linebacker position, part of breaking that one up.
Fajardo looking for White across the middle. Didn't seem to account for Adeleke as he's kind of watching the coverage on the boundary side of the field. Mark Milton following Reggie White, but Adeleke steps in from the strong side to make a play.
Zima with the punt from his end zone. Janarian Grant, that is 50. Great coverage. In the slick conditions too. It's Jesher Antwi coming down and making that play. Well, the PointsBet Invitational intensifies. It is the women's final. That happens in Calgary tomorrow, and you can watch it here on TSN at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific time. Heading into curling season. And heading into the most interesting part of the CFL season was getting late in it, and playoff spots are being grabbed. The positioning still up in the air. Last night, Winnipeg clinched a playoff spot. The Alouettes have now clinched first place in the East. Here's Deontay McMahon. And just across the 50. But aside from that, aside from the Bombers, who were very close, by the way, with BC's loss to clinching first in the West as well. Aside from those two, there's still a lot undecided this late in the season.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We've got a month of playoff football before the playoff.
Big win for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who really, after that great start at 5-1, really had some problems in a long losing streak, but beating the Stampeders, beating the Ottawa Redblacks today. Chad Kelly. They had an open receiver and puts it a bit far for Polk. And fortunate that Alouette defenders weren't closer there. So that's incomplete. It's a 3rd down and 8, and John Haggerty's back on.
As we talk about the standings, obviously that Ottawa loss catching the attention of the Toronto Argonauts with a chance at a home playoff game for them. Still a possibility.
Well, Ottawa had been 8-3-1, but 3 straight losses after they beat the Argos soundly. And they're 8-6-1, and they're still looking to wrap up a playoff spot. Fletcher running over. That one heads out of bounds. Flag comes out because it can't go out of bounds in the air outside the 15-yard line. That's down closer to the 20, so it is a penalty against Haggerty and the Argos.
And Haggerty has done such a terrific job with his placement all year, but this one's going to be costly.
Legal punt out of bounds, Toronto. 10-yard penalty from where it went out. First down, Montreal.
And a rare miscue for one of the top punters in the CFL. Cole Speaker. Some big plays in the first half especially, including the touchdown.
Yeah, this was one that kind of got the drive going, and then the fake hitch to Rambo. Speaker going over the top for the touchdown. And then showing he doesn't mind doing the dirty work there either.
Running play, Walter Fletcher has it, breaks a few tackles, and he gets it up close to a first down at the Montreal 40.
Yeah, Montreal maybe looking to give the Argos a taste of their own medicine here. Little double tight. You see the elusiveness of Walter Fletcher as he gets in behind the big bodies there.
You talk about Speaker, remembering the Grey Cup last year. Early second half, very quick drive. Austin Mack and then to Speaker with a touchdown. And of course the 3rd and 5 gamble with the game on the line to help set up the winning touchdown for the Alouettes against Winnipeg. Here's Fletcher again. Speaker, I mean, on the merit of that game alone, it'll never be forgotten by Alouette fans, I'm sure. That 3rd and 5 especially, a gutsy call when that was ball game right there.
Yeah, well, it speaks to the nature of this Montreal offense that, you know, you look at last year where Austin Mack got a lot of the talk as their go-to receiver. But other guys had big games along the way, whether it was Julian Grant, Philpott, Sneed, Speaker. That was always the case, and this year it's been the same kind of thing. A number of different guys have been the guy who has 100 yards in a given game. Cole Speaker, very much one of those capable of being the go-to guy.
And there's the guy who was driving it all too. What a year it was for Cody Fajardo and building on it this year, but After the way it ended in Saskatchewan the year before, he felt he had to prove himself in the biggest game of all, and did he ever? Made some great throws in that game. Grey Cup champion, and knocked away at the line of scrimmage. Coming in is Mark Milton, who's still looking up afterwards, seeing if the ball is still in the air. So Milton with a couple of good defensive plays for the Argos.
A great defensive call at the right time. Watch Mark Milton, the halfback, on the left side of your screen. He's coming on the blitz. Watch him get the head start on this. Time it up. He's the unblocked man in the scheme. Aware that he's vacating a space and there's a good chance the ball's going there. So the awareness to get his hand up, make a play. Great defensive call at the right time. Great execution by Mark Milton.
2nd and 10. Alouettes at their 50. Down by 5. Pressure on Fajardo. They've got him. Cody Fajardo is sacked back at the 45. They lose 5 yards and the punting unit will have to come on.
Well, defense is picking it up a little bit here in the second half of this ball game. Derek Parrish, the bottom of your screen, right side, among those closing in on Cody Fajardo.
And this Falerna Rimolade getting there first.
Yeah, whole D-line holding a meeting at the Alouette QB.
For the team that has more sacks than any other in the CFL coming into this week at 36. Oh, a little reverse. McMahon tosses it back to Janarian Grant, who finds the edge, tried to tiptoe inbounds, but he just couldn't go any further that way. But little trick there by the Argos special teams as the third quarter comes to an end, and it is still a very close game. It was tied at the half. The Argos on McMahon went in for that touchdown on the toss. That's the difference right now. 5-point lead heading to the final 15 for Toronto. Final 15, and the Argos just trying to hang on, needing the victory a lot more than Montreal does, but game did settle down a little bit in that latest 15 minutes.
Yeah, a little wild at times in the first half of this when the Argos running wild. Alouettes coming up with big plays in all 3 phases. Defenses, I think, figuring it out, adjusting a little bit in that third quarter. I think the fourth is going to be fascinating because Montreal is a team that, as good as they have been this year, haven't been great when they've been chasing the game, when they've been playing from behind. They've been terrific. Part of their thing has been getting off to good starts. They did that in this game, but Toronto responded well and has been able to keep Montreal chasing it a little bit.
Not what the Alouettes have been used to be sure, coming in at 11-2-1. Their only losses, their first one was to the Argos in Montreal. They've also lost to BC and tied Calgary. There's Marc-Antoine Dequoy on the field. With the Alouette defense, it's Toronto football to start this fourth quarter from their 30. Trying to protect a 5-point lead or add to it. It's Kevin Mittal, the Argo rookie receiver, with his first catch in this game, getting it up near the 50.
High percentage play, Kevin Mittal out of Laval. Talked about all the Canadians that started their college careers at Syracuse. A number of them transferring different places. Mittal, a Heck Crichton winner at Laval. Argo's first-round pick, and a guy who I anticipate his role growing and growing in this offense down the stretch.
Picked up 19 yards, first down from the 49. Kelly going back and trying to complete it there to Coxie, right down at the sideline to the right and deep, but it's incomplete.
Yeah, Chad Kelly under pressure, just taking a shot on this one. Coxie sees his quarterback in trouble, starts heading down the sideline. You see the faith that Chad Kelly has in DeMonte Coxie in a jump ball situation to put that one up there.
Kelly under pressure. Tyrese Beverett coming in. Ike dishes it off to Dejan Brissett, who escapes the bunch and gets a first down. Sneaky. The Argos, when it looked like the Alouettes had Kelly wrapped up and down.
A little bit of a magic trick from Chad Kelly. Brissett right in front of him. Kelly basically hands it off to him.
And back at it quickly. It's Mackay Polk down inside the 45. Resourceful by Kelly, and to Brissett be on the same page there when Kelly was in trouble.
The shortest forward pass in CFL history.
Deverett was too preoccupied with getting Kelly down.
Oh, yeah, he was completely wrapped up. No one was accounting for Brissett.
Big paper Brissett in his first game back since week 3. Kelly chased out of the pocket. He'll take off. He'll have a first down too. Slides down closer towards the Alouette 30. Kavion Ento is there. And he's still sitting down and checking his right foot, right leg. And
yeah, seemed to be reacting like it was a cramp, looking like he's trying to stretch out his calf, and hopefully that's all it is.
So the training staff coming on to tend to Chad Kelly. Back at BMO, quarterback Chad Kelly got off on his own. Cameron Dukes, who hasn't played since early August, week 9 in Calgary. That was the last time Dukes played, of course, with Kelly suspended for the first 9 games of the season. Dukes played most of the way for the Argos at quarterback, a little bit of Nick Arbuckle as well. So Dukes in, and he completes that pass to David Ungar and keeps his feet. And then he gets thrown down by Moultrie, Antonio Moultrie. So Cameron Dukes, yeah, there were a lot of, I mean, he was in the spotlight, Dwayne, early on and won his first couple of games starting with Kelly suspended.
Yeah, and Cameron Dukes is a guy who certainly has some tools, and I think there's a future for Cameron Dukes as a CFL quarterback. You got to bear in mind this is just a second-year guy who saw little action in his first year. We know it takes quarterbacks some time, but good athlete, bright kid.
Second down and 4. Wants to take off. He's running around, see if he can find anyone. He just throws it away. Third down coming up here, and within the field goal range of Lirim Hajrullahu. So not sure what the status of Kelly is. He seemed okay walking off and had to be off for at least 3 plays. As Dukes heads off now in favor of the field goal unit.
Yeah, and I like the decision from Dukes, understanding the situation coming into the game as a backup quarterback. He makes a throwaway, but that's a decision that instead of thinking it's up to him to come out here and try and win the game, he's protecting the field position for Lirim Hajrullahu to come and attempt this field goal.
Hajrullahu, who is 5 for 5, and will update that to 6 for 6. Lirim Hajrullahu, and 3 more very important points on the board for the Argos, who increased their lead to 8. Still a 1-score game. Let's get an update on Chad Kelly from Matthew.
No big concern for Chad Kelly here on the Argos sidelines. Came off. The doctors did not look at him, but he was hydrating. Probably an indication of a cramp, but he seems to be pretty good with the iPad on the Argos sidelines, right?
Okay, Matthew.
Yeah, you could see Kelly stretching out that calf as soon as he went down, and actually heard him just before we went to break, yelling to the trainers as they were coming out, "I've got a cramp." So another pretty good indication that it's a cramp.
That'd be the best indication.
I think so, yeah.
So you're saying you think it's a cramp?
I'm thinking it might be a cramp.
Up at the 40 and a 1st and 10 after the field goal by Toronto. And back to Walter Fletcher. 5 more for Fletcher. The Alouettes run the ball a little bit more in this second half, and trailing now by 8. Still a 1-score game, but of the biggest variety.
Well, big defensive stop for the Alouettes on that one. Force a field goal as obviously it keeps this as a 1-possession game. We know the Alouettes go for that high percentage game, but pick their spots and go in deep.
4-man rush, Fajardo. He completes it to Charleston Rambo, who backtracks a bit, but still has enough for the first down for the Alouettes, just across the 50.
And here's Charleston Rambo. Just working across the formation. Finds a little hole to sit down. Good effort after the catch to fight for that first down yardage. Injured Alouette in behind the play.
It's the left tackle, Nick Callender. So Jesse Gibbon, in his 6th year at Waterloo, will come on to replace Callender.
Former number 2 overall pick by the Hamilton Tiger Cats, his hometown team. And the adjustment here for Montreal to move the right tackle, Josh Donovan, over to the left side into Callender's spot. Gibbon comes in at the right tackle spot.
Along with Philippe Gagnon and Justin Lawrence, who won a Grey Cup to center there, 54. Won a Grey Cup.
Wins Grey Cups everywhere he goes.
To say he won the Grey Cup. He came over from Calgary. He'd won with the Stampeders in 2018. He was the starting center in Toronto in 2022 and won the Grey Cup, and then yes, went to the Alouettes and won the Cup again.
You want to be Justin Lawrence's teammate.
First and 10. Fajardo rolls out to the left, throws it that way and completes it to Julian Grant. The Alouettes have something going now. 4th quarter, a little over 10 minutes to go, down by 8 and into the Argo zone.
Well, try to split your attention here. Great block by Justin Lawrence, but also watch the fullback, Dallaire, who's going to motion across and go to the flat, but gets taken out by an Argo defender before he can get there. With him occupied, Fajardo's going to look a little deeper and makes the play.
First down quickly again. That's Tyler Sneed with it as when McManus comes in to take a late punch at the football after Sneed is down, and he has almost enough for another first down. The offensive coordinator Anthony Calvillo, and a Hall of Famer, the all-time leading passer in the history of the Canadian Football League.
Who's still AC playing quarterback the last time the Owls hosted an East final, wasn't it?
It was 2012, and yes, it's 12 years ago. You're right. The last time that Montreal hosted the East final, they found out before this game they will indeed be hosting it in November. Dominic Davis just needs a couple of feet and gets it. Davis brought back initially after the injury to Cody Fajardo against the Argos back in week 6, and then of course Caleb Evans got hurt shortly after, so Davis used for short yardage, brought back apparently out of retirement for spending last year with BC. So Fajardo back on again, and there's Dominic Davis, who's had stops in Winnipeg and Ottawa as well, his second stop in Montreal. 40 and counting. 4th quarter. 31-23 Toronto. Fajardo. Oh, down inside the 10. Reggie White. A beautiful throw. Great catch, White, too, to get the Alouettes on the doorstep. First and goal coming up Montreal.
A great throw from Cody Fajardo, again dropping it in behind one level into another, but love the play by Reggie White. Bear in mind, this is a guy who missed all of last year. He knows he's going to get blasted. Deshaun Amos has his sights on him as White goes airborne, fully exposed for this ball. Absolutely fearless play by Reggie White, making a play for his quarterback.
So the Alouettes down a touchdown in the 4th quarter and 2 yards away from getting it. Davis back in. Keeps it himself. Did not get there. Might have got half of it. It was at the 2. Let's see where they spot this ball.
Whole lot of big bodies colliding at the line of scrimmage. The Argos get the advantage in this one. See Jake Serezna and others in the middle of that.
Big moment here for the Toronto Argonaut defense. They need 2 more stops if necessary for Montreal.
Timeout, Montreal.
As Jason Moss calls the timeout.
Yeah, critical play. Jason Moss wants to make sure they've got it right here. It looked like the Alouettes may have had a personnel issue there, that they were man short in their offensive huddle, just figuring out what they were doing.
We'll try this again, and Fajardo instead of Davis is back in at quarterback and running out of shotgun as well. 2nd and goal. The Argo 2 handing off. Walter Fletcher. Jake Serezna comes in, and the pile pushes him back. Still not in the end zone. 3rd down coming up. Serezna got things started coming in and getting a hold of Walter Fletcher.
Yeah, we talk so much about the presence that Jake Serezna is as a pass rusher from the interior of the defense, but let's not overlook what this guy does against the run. A couple of big back-to-back stuffs here at the goal line.
So down 8 points. The Alouettes have a 3rd and goal. Right near the Argo goal line. Now Davis is back in. They're back into short yardage mode to see if they can finally punch it in. Davis lunging forward. Waiting for the call. Touchdown.
Yes. Yeah, it certainly looked like there was good forward movement from the Alouettes on that one initially, but it took the officials a little while to get this sorted out. We have a great look here from the Spider Cam. Gets in behind the left side. Justin Lawrence, left guard Pierre-Olivier Lestage, but you can see looking straight down on the goal line, he has clearly broken the plane with the ball.
Dominic Davis, who had 13 touchdowns with the Alouettes when he last played for Montreal in 2022 before he went to BC last year. This was his expertise, the former starting quarterback in the CFL with Ottawa. And gets the important touchdown there, and they need the 2-point conversion to tie the game again. So going for 2, 31-29. Fajardo quickly, and they get it. It's Tyler Sneed. And as soon as Fajardo got the snap of the football, he was getting rid of it to Sneed. And we've got a tie again, 31-31. The Alouettes have clinched first, but don't tell them they've got nothing to play for. We got a close one here, trying to stay unbeaten on the road.
Well, the Montreal Alouettes got a big defensive stop that kept this game within 8 points, a 1-possession game, and they make the most of that 1 possession. Cody Fajardo marching them down the field. 9 plays, 70 yards, 5.5 minutes on the clock. Laid up here in the 3rd quarter. Huge catch by Reggie White sets up the Dom Davis plunge at the goal line. Tyler Sneed chips in with the 2-point convert to even the score.
And tie it up again. It was tied at the half, 22-22, and it is now tied 31-31 with just 6 minutes left in this game. And Deontay McMahon taking the kickoff across the 30, 35, works his way up to the 40. For the Argo offense to come back on the field. We got a ball game here late at BMO Field. Oh, that head coach is always fired up, isn't he?
after a downpour early on in the game. I actually stood in the end zones a few minutes ago. It is chewed up between the hash marks going down the field, and you can see all of that leftover grass here on the sidelines for both teams. But there was a lot of work put into this field this week. The grass was let to grow a little long. It was seeded a little bit. And if you want to see the effect of the grass field, look at Kadeem Carey's jersey. Not only is it ripped, but I don't even think it's got a shade of blue on the back anymore, guys.
That's old-time football, Matthew. Like the sight of that. And overall, Carey has his ball there and takes a pop and keeps going. That helmet keeps coming off. Dangerous sight, and he still gets up, fired up, and he has to signal another first down. We've seen that a few times tonight.
Kadeem Carey's going to be big down the stretch.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, my.
What a tighten
I was going to say, he might need an extra strap on that helmet.
Or a smaller helmet. So they did mark it back. No first down, because once the helmet comes off, the play is dead. They put the ball a few yards back from where he ultimately got to. So it's a 2nd and 3 now after that. 7 yards by Carey. Chad Kelly, as you can see. In this game again, and running hard is Daniel Adebaboye. Left side, Deontay Ruffin finally knocks him down, but a big carry, biggest for Adebaboye in this game, as the Argos continue to run the ball well.
Watch this fantastic cutback by Adebaboye. Just a great read. He's going to start right and bend this all the way back. Ryan Hunter doing a nice job all by himself on the island, making his first start at left tackle. Gets things locked down, allowing Adebaboye to take it around the edge.
Gain of 26 yards and a first down for the Argos, who had a lead. Saw the Alouettes drive back and tie it. Now trying to move in front again, getting late. 4 minutes, 10 seconds. Oh, coming in. Good play there by Kabion Ento and David Unger just as the ball was arriving, and knocks it loose. So 2nd and 10 coming up.
Yeah, Ento, another one of those guys who became a starter partway through last year. And you think about all the impactful plays we've seen him make over the course of the last season as a Montreal Alouette. This one's basically a race to the football as Unger is slanting to it. Ento coming downhill, able to get a piece of it and break up that play.
2nd and 10 at the Alouette 37. Kelly finds Coaksy. 30, turns back, keeps his feet, first down, doesn't want to go down. And finally, does get hauled out of bounds. Very good play by Coaksy and the Argonauts.
Well, we talked earlier in this ball game about the fact that for so many teams, it's playoff football for the last month of the season. The Argos certainly one of those temes. DeMonte Coaksy personifies that with his effort on this run.
It's finally Beverett among those grabbing the jersey and convincing him to finally go down. 1st and 10, Alouette 22 in this tie ball game. Argos threatening again. Handing off, Kadeem Carey. Dirty jersey and all. Helmet comes off again. If we're doing a helmet off count, I'd say that's 4, is it not?
At least.
4 times. And he can't signal a first down on that one, but he does pick up about 4 yards. And he heads off again, helmet in hand.
Where the beating?
Argos equipment man Danny Webb working on getting that thing to stay on.
2nd and 6. Kelly quickly off to the right. It is caught. Daniels off his shoe tops. Makes the catch. Still not enough for a first down. He gets it inside the 15, but there's still a couple of yards shy.
Something out of nothing here for Javaris Daniels, as this play looked like it was doomed at the line of scrimmage.
2nd straight week the Argos are in a game like this, back and forth. Remember the one against the Ticats last week that they had a field goal to move ahead, and that was with about a minute to go before Bo Levi Mitchell let the Ticats back. We hadn't seen this the first time when Kadeem Carey took a hit and lost the helmet. Watch what happens afterwards, Dwayne.
Yeah, he continues on and takes a lid from Wesley Sutton right to the side of his unprotected face. Yeah, Kadeem Carey just says, whatever.
Still smiling it off.
Playoff time, whatever.
And he lost his helmet again after that, so gave it to Danny Webb. And maybe this time he'll be able to stay on. He's still all smiles and chatting on the sideline, waiting to get in for his turn again. Big 3rd and 3. The kicker, Lirim Hajrullahu, not sent on to give them the lead. So 3rd down. We're going to try this again. Well, we got a little finger pointing now. They're trying to draw the Alouettes off. Now a flag comes out. It's Dejon Allen who got up. The right tackle and started pointing. But flag's out and Kelly's heading off.
Procedure, Toronto number 59. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
So, again, doesn't work and pushes him back a little bit, but still a short one for Lirim Hajrullahu, who has a chance to go 7 for 7 and give the Argos the lead again. But as we talked about, we saw it last week against Hamilton. Final minutes up by 3. That doesn't guarantee anything right now in this league.
Well, you think about the number of late lead changes we've seen just in the last 2 weeks.
From 27 to go 7 for 7. Lirim Hajrullahu sees the Argos take the lead. Let's go back to Matthew.
Well, I just talked to Danny Webb, guys, as he was examining Kadeem Carey's helmet. Now, these helmets are custom fit to each player, scanned to their head before the season. 13 rushes for 90 yards. All the hard work Kadeem Carey's been putting in on the field, and we have seen it. Looks like Danny Webb was just trying to go ahead and clear it of all this sweat because Kadeem's working so hard it keeps slipping off. Let's see if that happens in the last 2:17, guys.
Thank you, Matthew. And if that doesn't work, maybe glue next time.
Yeah, they need Kadeem Carey if they're going to try and close this one out. Terrific close football game here. You know, we saw the shot of DeMonte Coxey fighting down the sidelines. Kadeem Carey taking shots to the head with no helmet on. And I can't help but think about our discussion with Wynton McManus this week and the word he used, urgency.
Yeah.
Just a sense of urgency for the Argos that every play matters, every inch matters. You got to sacrifice whatever it takes, and they're demonstrating that for sure.
And Lirim Hajrullahu has tied an Argo franchise record with 7 field goals. He's 7 for 7, accounting for 21 of their 34 points, and actually consider the points after 2 for Hajrullahu.
Yeah, good day for Lirim. 7 field goals, and his Western Mustangs beat Queens at homecoming, right?
You just had to bring that up, eh? We went all this time late in the 4th quarter. Queens still having a good season, though, Dwayne. It's very competitive. OUA. Former Western Mustang, Lirim Hajrullahu. That's taken by Letcher. And he gets taken down shy of the 35 for the Alouettes, trailing by 3. Lirim Hajrullahu, who kicked the game-winning field goal in the Grey Cup for the Argos back in 2017 against Calgary. He had earlier played for Winnipeg. He later went to Hamilton, kicked in the Grey Cup for the Ticats, went to the NFL after the 2019 Grey Cup, and just returned this season. And he's had some late dramatic field goals. We talked about that last week. It wasn't a walk-off, obviously. It was a late field goal to put them ahead for a time before Hamilton came back and won it. But he's had 2 other walk-off winners and a walk-off miss, if you will, with a rouge against Saskatchewan. There's Walter Fletcher. And coming in, Mark Milton, taking him down, limiting the damage there.
Well, Mark Milton trying to put a claim on that boundary halfback spot that has seen a number of different players start for the Argos this season. A couple of big plays for him today. Guy who started the season with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. He was let go. The Argos brought him in. He's played a lot of special teams. doing a great job here as a starter today.
4 receivers out to the left, 2 to the right. Fajardo quickly looking left. It is caught. It's Julian Grant. And on that second down, still shy of the 40. It'll be 3rd down and long coming up here for the Alouettes. Just another 3rd and 5 coming up for Jason Moss.
Exactly. I mean, you look at the clock, a minute 44 to go. Clock's running. You got to go for it here.
You looking for Cole Speaker this time?
Well, he's come up big a number of times in this ball game.
Fajardo, here it is, 3rd down. They bring the heat, and a deep shot and nobody home. Turnover on downs. Argos with a 3-point lead and less than a minute and a half in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, Argos loading it up close to the line of scrimmage. See how many of those come. All of them. 8 guys, 8-man pressure means Cody's got to get the ball out of his hands in a hurry.
Let's go!
Talked about Cole Speaker as a potential go-to guy. He was forced to stay in and block because of the number of guys coming in.
Kelly falls as he hands off to Adeboboye. So Matthew talked about the footing here at BMO, which by our view from this vantage point is not as bad as it was last week against Hamilton, where players were sliding all over the place, and this is with rain coming today before this.
Yeah, no, it has certainly been better combination of the efforts of the ground crew and probably a level of preparation by these two teams based on last week as well. But yeah, you can certainly see all the seeding that they had done when I was out on the field prior to the game.
10 seconds, watch help.
If the Argos can hang on, they'd still be 3rd in the East, but they'd be back to 4 points ahead of Hamilton, and they'd be just a point behind the Ottawa Red Blacks. Ottawa lost today in Saskatchewan to fall to 8-6-1. Still 2nd in the East. The Alouettes have already wrapped up 1st in the East Division. Kelly throwing, caught. Mackay Pope still shy of a 1st down around the 31. So Lirim Hajrullahu on the 3rd down with the 3-point lead, and still waiting to see what they're doing here. It is a 3rd and short. The offense staying on.
We've seen the Argos a number of times in these 3rd and less than 5s try to draw the opponent offside. But the field goal team is heading out there.
So in the long history of the Toronto Argonauts Football Club, no kickers had 8 field goals in a game. Lance Chomick had 7 twice. Noel Prefontaine also had 7.
Justin Medlock as well on that list.
So 7 is the record. Hajrulahu's tied it. He can stand alone in Argo franchise history if he can go 8 for 8 on this 3rd down, and more importantly for Toronto, just a few more points, a little more comfort. At least force the Alouettes to need a touchdown coming back. Out, down, and kicked, and through it goes. What a night for Lirim Hajrullahu. 8 for 8, new franchise record for field goals made in a game.
This is why the Toronto Argonauts went out and got this guy as a free agent when he let it be known he was ready to return to the Canadian Football League after exploring his NFL opportunities for a couple of years.
I would assume his biggest Argo moment anyway would remain the 2017 Grey Cup winning field goal. But he, in his first year back in the CFL, has had a lot of clutch kicks for the Argos and a lot of big moments too, as he gives the cleats one more little clean before heading back on. And they will kick off under a minute to go and a 37-31 lead.
Yeah, not bad for a guy who's undrafted in 2013, signs as a free agent with Winnipeg in 2014 after completing his 5th and final year at Western.
Trying to hang on in the final 49. The Alouettes need a touchdown now. There's a guy who could get it for them, too. Here he goes again. James Letcher had a touchdown earlier in this game and gets that one up around the 40-yard line.
The late flag is going to give Montreal a chunk more in terms of field position here. Unnecessary roughness behind the play.
If the Argos can hang on.
15-yard misconduct foul against Toronto number 90. Went out 15 yards from where the ball went dead. First down.
Flagging Teodric Hansen. That penalty off the kickoff.
Yeah, you see Hansen tied up there with Terrell Richards. Two of them in a wrestling match, but it's after this.
Has a little chat from special teams coordinator Mickey Donovan about that. It's up in midfield now for Fajardo and the Alouettes. 40 seconds on the clock. Off to the right, it's incomplete, intended for Julian Grant. Right by Matthew Shinetti. Has a perfect view of that play.
Yeah, that one got away from Cody a little bit. Just came off his hand awkwardly and left Grant fighting his way back towards the line of scrimmage to try to get to the ball.
The Alouettes have not lost a road game this year. It's a streak that goes back to September the 9th, 2023 here at BMO Field, the last time they lost on the road. And facing that now, the 2nd and 10 for Jarno, and no, it's incomplete. It'll come down to a 3rd and 10 with under a half minute to go. And if the Argos can hang on, they do not clinch a playoff spot, but they certainly improve their chances. They'd get their record to 8-7, just a point behind Ottawa for 2nd in the East Division. Both of these teams have a bye, the Alouettes and Argos next week. And it would keep the pressure on the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who have played so well. They've won 4 straight, but the Argos win. They go 4 points up again, and a big one for the Ticats at home against Winnipeg next week. Could be it. Deep ball, intercepted. That's the rookie, Tyshawn Blackburn, who was just inserted into the lineup because of the injury to Robert Priester before the game, and Blackburn has himself an interception.
Great effort by Blackburn to go and get this one. He's just looking to help out over the top. Comes up with his first career interception, the former Alberta Golden Bear. Mark Milton in coverage on Reggie White Jr. on the play.
Blackburn drafted in the 3rd round this year, 27th overall by the Argos. As I said, just a late addition to the lineup. He's hanging on to that football.
Yeah, played for former CFLer Chris Morris at the U of A.
So 22 seconds in victory formation for Kelly and the Argos, and a long, dominant road run by the Montreal Alouettes comes to an end today. But so too does the confirmation that they are the first place team in the East Division and will finish that way and will host the Eastern Final for the first time since 2012. Jason Moss knows his team is back to being 1 win away to getting back to the Grey Cup. And you know that Kelly and the Argos would love a chance to meet them there in November in the East Final and turn the tables. But first, they have to clinch a playoff spot. And the way things are right now, nothing should be a given for the other team.